Hey there, this is Dawn at the Lake at Lakeside Quilt Making Arts. Welcome or welcome back. This is going to be a very unusual video because this is my first day back in the studio and being on camera um, since, oh gosh, before I left for surgery. This is Thursday and this is Thursday and I got back on Tuesday, and this is the week following surgery this past Friday. So I'm not quite a week out, and that's what this video is going to be about moving the needle. Sometimes we have things distracting us, and we have, that feeling of like we're getting behind and we're getting behind and we're getting behind, and that can overwhelm us, and that can kind of shut down our creativity. It can, it's like inertia. It was really hard for me to leave to go out of town to do this surgery because I had some inertia. I was really wanting to just really get into the studio and just really produce, and I had one distraction after another. And so it was hard to leave. And so all I could think about was being productive while I was gone because I know it makes me feel good. So I did. I took a lot of stitching, and I did a little stitching vlog, surgery trip stitching vlog. And I think it was maybe 4 or 5 videos that I did. So I know you've all been there. You've had something, big that you could not prevent this timing of it, and it's come into your life and you've had to deal with it. So that's where I've been. And I'm 6 days post-op, and that's why this is here, because it doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look awful, but it's fresh, so it looks kind of gnarly. I look on the inside, on x-ray, I look a lot less like Frankenstein's bride, but on the outside right now, I look a lot like Frankenstein's bride. But the incision will probably look fantastic in just 2 or 3 days, and then I can take this off and we won't have this distracting thing. I actually produced this video yesterday, the intro anyway, and I was trying to think about how I was going to camouflage this, and I thought I would just put a picture or some video going on while I was on camera so that you couldn't see it. And I was thinking about that and thinking about that, and then I realized, you know what? I was putting my makeup on to come down here and talk to you, and I used this to pull my hair back. I thought that kind of matches my shirt, and I wonder if I can use it to cover up my scar, and I can. So it's just, I've got a hair clip on it in the back to give just enough tension, because a scarf really won't stay in place, and this is just fantastic. There's no real compression, and it's nice and airy, and I won't leave it there for very long. So enough about that. But what I really want to encourage, because what I did yesterday is created that intro, and in that intro I said I was going to come downstairs and I was going to unpack and I was going to move the needle some, and I did. And I intended to do more than that, but I ran out of steam. I'm doing absolutely beautifully, but I've been doing a lot. And, I had to travel back home. That was a lot. And, get laundry done, get groceries in the house, cook, all the different stuff. And so I can't do regular life and recover and do the channel. So I only got a little ways. I did get my stuff unpacked. I got my applique blocks that I had worked on while I was gone. I got those up on the wall. And I have some thoughts to share about those. I was kind of kidding myself whenever I was doing some of them, like, well, if I ever enter a competition, we know one thing for sure, it's not going to be for anything applique. It does kind of sound, like I'm trying to make light of the situation, and I am. But what I don't like about that statement is that it sounds like a defeated mentality, and that's not what I want to project, because it's not who I am. I have a push through, bulldoze through it attitude. I have a lot of fight in me. I would not have made it through all of my medical stuff without that. And so I don't want to portray anything but that, because I believe we don't know when we're going to need an extra bit of just self-drive. So we need to watch our words. So I'm not going to say, hey, I'm no good at applique. I think I'm fine at applique. What I need to learn to do better is the preparing of my applique pieces. And where I have identified that I need to improve is on convex like on a really sharp curve or on a 90-degree angle. I think that's pretty much the two top things I need to worry about. I need to get better on my curved edges, especially the little small circles that I had on one of these blocks. It must be on this other one. No, it's over here. Yeah, you can't see it on the screen. So it had 3 little circles about the size of a dime. They're not perfectly smooth. I'd like for them to be. I wasn't working with the thread I wanted to, and I was recovering while I was doing all of it. So there's that too. And I'm also just not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to get this one done. I know that this quilt, and I'm not trying to just get it done too sloppily either. I am trying to learn on it, but I've got so much to learn. If I don't push through some things towards the objective of completion, I won't get it done. So, I saw that my circles were not completely smooth and I just moved on. And I want that to improve. So that's what I'm talking about. I had that little, snibby little attitude is like, well, if I ever enter a competition, we know it won't be for anything that has applique on it. I'm not going to say such a thing. I'm telling you about it because I know we've all done that thing to ourselves. We can put ourselves down really quickly. Don't do it. If you enjoy quilt making, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself because your first attempts at it, or even your 3rd or 5th or 10th attempt at it, is not perfection. I don't mind putting a binding on a quilt. And at first, the first one I put on, it wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't too bad. I wasn't embarrassed by it. The next one got better. The next one got better. And then, this last one I put on, I thought, that's not too bad. I actually have mitered corners. That's not too bad. But I felt like it was more of a by the luck of the draw. Not so much that because I had it nailed down. So I watched a video today by Jody at the Quilt Squirrel, and she was presenting a technique that was, what is it called? I think she said it, competitive binding. Completely different technique than I've seen anyone else present. And so I thought, okay, that's a great example of where you can perfect, not only practicing the same thing, but sometimes there's another technique. So what I'm doing here, number one, go and watch Jody's. This is July 18th, and I think the video went out today. Her video is called Quilt Squirrel. So go and watch her and see what she's doing as far as binding. The point I was trying to make is that I don't need to put myself down. I need to identify what it is I need to perfect, what I need to work on, look at what I've been taught about how to do that, try to hone that skill, and also look for other teachings, see if there are other methods that might work for me better. When producing those little circles that we were talking about, I use the technique where you kind of baste a stitch in, and then you pull on the thread and it circles that thread, that fabric around your acrylic or freezer paper template. And it turned out beautifully. But by the time I got on the board, though, and by the time it got stitched, it wasn't perfectly smooth. So when you take that template out, there's room for it to fall apart. Why is that? That's something I need to work on. So I guess if there's an overall message to this video, and I'm going to try to cut this one short and call it done for you guys, because I am just going to sit here and figure out what to do about my next move. And I don't have all my thoughts together because I've just come out of surgery, and this is my first time in the studio, but I'm going to find my templates, going to identify what is left, and I'm going to figure out which fabrics to use, and that will be in the next video. But I need to keep this video easy to edit. I almost said easy to stitch, easy to edit and get up for you, because my stamina isn't what it should be, what I want it to be, but it will be, because I'm doing too beautifully and have done beautifully from minute, second after the surgery. This was a surgery where they took out screws. So it's soft tissue that has to heal. and it's just that healing process. It's the muscle tension and pain. There's some residual things going on, but have a rib that doesn't want to stay in place because of muscles here. There's a rib back here that doesn't want to stay in place. So my point is, this is a smooth, beautiful recovery, and I am doing well, but I know I need to pace myself. So as I'm encouraging you to keep on moving the needle, keep on moving the needle. I came in here yesterday, I unpacked my things. That was me moving the needle. I felt good about doing that little bit of stuff. 10 minutes worth of work. That's all it was. The whole time I was gone, I made progress. None of it was heavy effort, right? None of it was laborious. None of it was just hours upon hours upon hours, but I made progress and I feel good about that. So as I'm encouraging you, and I always will, because that's how our life and our time for our passions, that's how it happens, is that we just move the needle when we can. So as I'm encouraging that to you, do not hear me say abuse yourself in doing that. Sometimes we need to pace ourselves. Sometimes we may need to be a little slower about how we go about things. We need to give ourselves less time for some of this, and making any movements forward is still forward motion. So that's my little lecture. I don't mean to be on a soapbox. I mean to encourage you. I really do. We can all be our worst enemy at times, and we can let the self-talk can be negative even when we do it in jest. So I'm not going to stick to that original self-talk about if I ever enter a competitive show, quilt show, that it won't be for anything that's got applique on it. No, I'm not going to stick with that. I'm actually going to lean in and learn, because there are other ways to do things, and the very thing that I have done with this quilt can get better. My first efforts at it is not going to be my best. It's okay. So to you, my friends, keep on moving that needle. Take care of yourself. Pace yourself. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.